So welcome everybody to today's class, February 2nd. I sometimes have Australians, but there are no Australians online today because it's February 3rd there. So as I was saying, we're going to just start to get into a comfortable position. And there's two kind of new people here. So I wanted to remind people that I really can't see you. You're only little boxes. So please, listen to what your body is telling you, honor and respect what it's telling you. So if you feel that you can't do a move or you find any pain, back off and just, you can rejoin when you're ready if you're tired, or just what your body is telling you, because it's more important for you to stay without injury than to follow what I'm saying. And everybody's alignment is a little bit different, so you can each find your own inner alignment. So always come to the edge of the sensation, but not over it. Don't over strive. That's not what yoga is about. So as we get into our comfortable positions, being seated, with legs crossed or in front, or if you'd like to even be sitting on a chair, if that's more comfortable. If you're seated, allow your weight to come down into your pelvis and really feel yourself grounding through your pelvis. You want your shoulders just back and down, your spine and the shoulders to be relaxed away from your ears. If you're lying down, just make sure that your shoulder blades are flat against the earth, that your neck is long. And let's begin. So gently close your eyes. I think I just have to mute Lisa here. Okay. Gently close your eyes. And then just bring your attention to your breath. Right now, we're not going to do any changing of the breath. We're just going to notice our own unique individual breath as it moves in our body, its pace, the quality of your breath. And take a nice deep inhale and a nice full, complete exhale. And as we bring our attention to our breath, we start to come inward. So let all your senses come inward, just like a turtle would draw in its limbs and its head into its shell. So start to come inward, even taking those swirling thoughts that are happening in our brains, drop them down into your breathing and into your body. Scan your body for any tension you might be holding and take your breath to that area, relax and soften and release. One of the reasons we do the breathing exercise is to bring us out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is the active nervous system protecting us throughout the day, keeping all our senses alive, down into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nourishing, resting, and relaxing, which our bodies need also to be able to drop down into that system. And a nice way of doing that is deepening our breathing. So we're going to do a little exercise now to deepen our breathing. We're going to do that by an exhaling exercise. It's going to be a 3-part exhale. So how it's going to happen, you're going to do 10 of these. You're going to be taking an inhale, then you're going to be exhaling, a slight pause, exhale, pause, exhale, pause, and then you'll take a nice inhale and then begin the exhale like 3-part exhale. And it's not a gripping when you pause, it's just a little pause and then go down to the next exhale and all the way to the final exhale. It's really important not to strive to do this. So if you feel like you have to go back to your normal breathing and take a couple of normal breaths in between, that's perfectly fine. So there's no tension when you're doing this exercise. And it might be really nice for a nice rhythm. You can even imagine a waterfall. So the water falling down into the first pool, and then you pause, and then exhale down into the second pool, and then you pause, and then finally exhaling down in the bottom pool of the waterfall. So let's begin that. We're going to do 10 of these breaths at your own pace. So with your eyes closed and concentrating in on your breath, begin with an inhale, exhale, okay, you can finish up on that last exhale. And then come back to your normal breathing. And hopefully your breathing, you'll be a little more relaxed now. Your breathing will be a little deeper and a little more full. So we're going to begin on our back. So if you want to come down onto your backs, lying down, feet on the mat, knees pointed up to the ceiling. And we'll coordinate and our breathing with our movement here. You want the movement, the breathing to be a little bit, finishing up a little bit after the movement. So inhale your arms up and over behind you. And exhale back down beside you. Inhale one more time, arms up, nice deep inhale. Backs of the hands on the mat. And exhale. Bring them down by your side. And the next time, just notice your back. You might notice as you inhale your arms, your back has a little more of an arch in it. And then as you exhale the arms back down to your sides, your lower back starts to flatten into the mat. We'll do it one more time. And now bring your knees in towards your, just bring them up at a diagonal, actually. Vertical knees pointed towards the ceiling. And we're going to add the legs. So this time as we take the arms back up and over, you're going to straighten your knees and take your feet up to the sky. So inhale as you raise your feet to the sky. And exhale, lower down. Inhale. Lifting and exhaling as you lower down. Inhaling, rising. Exhaling, lower down. Now alternate leg and arm. So this time the left leg rises up as the right arm rises up and over. And lower down. This time it's the right leg rising up and the left arm back behind you. 2 more times on each side. Taking your breath all the way down into your belly. And now you might just take your hands around the tops of your knees. You're going to just circle the knees around. So we're getting a nice massage in the lower back here. So take the knees together over to one side, to the front, to the side of the room, and back in towards your chest. You could just do this on your own breath cycle. And the focus here is on the lower back and massaging all the way around the sacrum area, the lower back. Also warming up the hips and the pelvis. And then go the opposite way. And now we'll do some hip circles. So we're going to take the knees in opposite directions. Hands are still on tops of the knees, and we're going to really focus in now, this time, bringing all your attention to your hips. So hands to the tops of the knees as you take the knees out to the sides, opposite sides, and then around to the front of the room, back together and back in towards your torso. Just picture the top of your thigh bone rotating in the hip socket. And as you're doing this movement, you're bringing some nice blood flow and blood flow to the area. And with blood flow comes lubrication, the synovial lubrication of the joint, keeping the joints nice and healthy. And you can go in the opposite direction. Creating space, and with space comes freedom of movement. And back in towards your chest. And now just take one left foot down onto the mat and put your hands more around the tops of your shin here. We're just going to draw the right knee in towards the chest on the exhale. And on the inhale, begin to straighten your arms as the knee moves away from the body. As you inhale into the belly. Exhale. You can use your abdominal muscles to release all the air from your tummy. Inhale as that knee moves away from the body. Exhale as the knee comes in towards the torso, coming in closer with each exhale. Do it one more time on the right leg. Now keep that knee in towards your chest. And if you need, I should have told you to bring your strap a little bit close to your right side. So with the knee in towards your chest, just begin to loop your strap towel or whatever you have just around the sole of the foot. I'm sorry, around the ball of the foot. And then start to raise that foot up towards the ceiling, keeping the head relaxed, the back of the head relaxed on the mat, and then just release the hands down the strap until your backs of your shoulders are comfortable on the mat. And they're flat on the mat. Keep your neck nice and long. We're going to do a little bit of a yin pose here, which means we're going to hold the pose for a little longer than normal. It's going to give time for the muscle fibers to release and lengthen. So I'm going to get my timer here and put it on for 2 minutes. We're going to do this as a 2-minute timer. Okay. So just really get comfortable here. Inhale down into your belly. And then imagine the inhale going into your thigh. Feel all up and down the back of the leg. Draw your heel up towards the ceiling and your toes towards your head. You'll feel even more of a stretch up the back of the leg. As you take that inhale down into your belly, soften any tightness up the back of your leg with your exhale. And when you feel a little space, you can start to draw the toes a little bit closer in towards the head. So you just wait for the release of the muscle and then invite that leg in a little bit closer in towards your head. You don't want to overstretch these muscles. You might feel sensation in the thigh, the back of the thigh, the back of the calf. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. And the muscles of the legs are softening, releasing, and lengthening. Okay, so now take the strap into your right hand and take your left hand out to the side. I'm going to put the next timer is going to be a 1-minute timer. And this one, the left hand goes out along the side of the mat and just start to take your right leg over to the right side. You can even let the left knee draw out a little bit to the left side to give a counterbalance. So you're going to feel a stretch now in the right thigh muscles, the right inner thigh, I should say, the right inner thigh and groin area. So once again, just feel the tension and the tightness. Take your breath into that tightness. And then soften and release with the exhale. Keep the neck long, the back of the neck nice and long. All the rest of the body is relaxing. Okay, that was 1 minute. So now start to draw that right leg back up to the center. Release your strap. Bring the right knee in towards you. And this time we're going to take the knee over to the left side. You may need a pillow, if you have one, to rest your leg on. This is going to be a 1 minute, so let me get that going. Okay, so arms out to the side as you start to draw that right knee over to the left side. We're going to be in a twist here, a twist of the spine. If you like, you can take your head in the opposite direction to your knee. See if you can release that right shoulder down onto the mat. You might need to lift the left shoulder up a little bit so the right shoulder has a little more space to move down towards the earth. And picture the spine twisting from the base of the spine all the way up through to the neck, like a spiral staircase. Okay, so you can start to bring that right knee back up to center, followed by the left knee. Both feet are on the mat, and bring your hands to your sides. Take your strap around to the left side now. And just take a moment here to come back to your center. Reconnect with your breath. Now bring your left knee in. Take your hands around the top of your shin, and then draw the left knee in towards your chest as you exhale, and away from your chest as you inhale, and your arms straighten. Just a slight movement. In, exhale, release as you inhale. And with the exhale, you may find the knee coming in a little bit closer in towards your chest. We'll do that 2 more times. And now you can keep the knee in towards your chest. Take your strap, loop it around the ball of your left foot. And then slowly begin to raise your foot up towards the ceiling, straightening the leg. I'm going to put the timer on for our 2-minute hamstring stretch. So if your knee isn't completely straight, that is fine. But maybe as you begin to release and relax, your knee may begin to straighten a little. You don't want to lock it out, so it's okay if there's a little bend in the knee. The heels drawing up towards the ceiling. The breath is coming all the way down into the belly, into the thigh. Feeling the tightness. Breathe into that tightness, releasing with the exhale. Feel the muscle fibers as you relax. The muscle fibers are lengthening up the back of the leg. Take the attention of your breath up the back of the leg on the inhale. Exhale down the front of the leg. And if you do find a little give, a little moment of space, you can just invite your foot in a little bit closer in towards your head. You might find a new level of tightness up the back of the leg. Breathe into that. Inhale up the back of the leg. Exhale back down and out your nostrils. Keep all the rest of your body relaxed and keep your breath moving in and out. Okay, now take your strap into your left hand. Take your right hand out to the side. You can let the right knee go a little bit out to the right also as a counterbalance as you begin to take your left leg out to the side and left foot. Let me put that timer on. This is going to be a 1 minute. Oopsie, that's the wrong one. Get the 1 minute, there it is. Okay. Feeling the inner thigh muscles lengthening, the groin opening up. And try to keep the right sit bone down towards the ground. Don't let it come too far off the mat. So kind of ground back down. It may mean your leg may come up a little bit higher. Keep the pelvis grounded as much as possible. It's a little bit hard with all that weight going over to the left. You can just be looking up towards the ceiling. Taking the breath into any tightness. Okay, now bring that left leg up towards the ceiling. Release the strap. Bring the left knee in towards your chest. Arms out to the side as you start to twist and take your left knee over towards the right side. So you're going to have a bend, a twist in the lower back and spine all the way through to the neck. The foot may or may not reach the ground. You can even rest on the top of your right knee if that's comfortable for you. And you can turn your head in the opposite direction to your knees, so looking over to the left. Breathe into the twist. As you exhale, soften the spine. Your jaw soft. Keep the breath moving in your body. Feel it move your body. Release the right shoulder, lift the right shoulder a little so the left shoulder can come further, closer to the earth. Give you more space across your back. Opening up the chest and the front of the chest. Okay, I think my timer didn't work then. So that is a minute. So we'll bring the left knee up towards the ceiling, followed by the right knee and both feet on the ground. And that will come into happy baby. So bring the knees back up towards the ceiling and then take them out a little bit so they're kind of more directed towards under your arms. Then you're going to start to raise your feet up towards the ceiling, keeping the knees bent. And you can either hold behind your thighs or you can hold your shins, or if you like, you can bring your hands in between your legs and then take them to the soles of your feet. And let those knees drop down, let the hips sink and soften as the knees drop down towards the earth. If you like, you can even roll a little bit around here on your lower back. Or you can stay still. Breathe into your belly and relax your torso, your shoulders, your neck. Let the hips sink even more down towards the earth. Thighs sinking down, knees dropping down. One more nice deep breath. And then bring your knees together, feet on the ground, and you're gonna just come up towards on your side and then come to sitting. Okay, so in a nice seated position, you want to see if you can move the flesh of your buttocks behind you so that your sit bones can make contact with the earth. You can even lift your hands, lift your hips up by pushing your hands into the earth and raising your hips up off the ground, and then take that flesh back. You just don't want to be sitting on the lower spine. You want to be sitting on your sit bones, on your pelvis. Now bring your hands gently to your belly and take some nice breaths and feel the belly expand underneath your fingers on the inhale. And then it drops away on the exhale. So see if you can connect with your breath here. As your belly expands on the inhale, so you're taking your breath all the way down. Okay, now take your hands to the sides, and we're going to take the right hand onto the mat and begin tilting over to the right side. Take your hands to your left rib cage. So both sit bones are still grounded into the mat, and you're just going to be bending over to the right. Breathe into the left rib cage. Feel the ribs expanding as you breathe in. There's little muscles that connect the ribs, and you're doing an internal massage of those muscles. As you're breathing in, now you can take that hand up to the ceiling and then over by your ear. Keep that breath moving into the left side rib cage. 2 nice breaths here, breath cycles. And then come back to vertical. We'll go over to the other side now. Left hand is planted on the mat. As you begin to tilt over to your left side, take your fingertips to your right rib cage and see if you can feel the breath moving in the right rib cage. Keep the right shoulder blade back also. As you breathe in, the ribs expand, creating more space for the oxygen in the lungs, or more space for the lungs. Stretching out those little intercostal muscles. One more breath here. And then take the right hand up to the ceiling as you stretch up, and then over, bring the hand over by your right ear, palm facing down. Both sit bones are still balanced on the mat, equal weight. And then you can come back to vertical. This time take your hands, interlace them in front of you, and you're going to start to round your spine as you drop your chin down towards your sternum or your breastbone. Now breathe into the back body and into the space between the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades are moving away from the spine. They're moving away from each other, and you're making space across the shoulder blades. See if you can breathe into that upper body, upper back. chin to chest. And now you can circle your arms around you, interlace your fingers behind your back, and draw your knuckles down towards the earth as you open up across your chest, widening the collarbones, lifting the chest, the knuckles coming down towards the earth. And if you can, you can even start to take them arms away from your body as you breathe into your chest and front body. And then you can release. And now we'll just open up the shoulders, do some shoulder circles, so fingertips to the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are nice and relaxed away from the ears, and then bring your elbows and forearms together, then up towards the ceiling, and then the elbows come back. The shoulder blades are coming together as the elbows go back. Inhaling as you open up the chest. On top of that, arm bone is rotating in the hip and socket joint of the shoulder. And then you can go in the opposite direction. Go at your own pace. One more time in this direction. And then you can take your strap. Please take your strap again. Hold it like in the middle of the strap. We're going to take it to, let me turn to this. First of all, raise your right hand. And you're going to take the strap back behind you. So now you're holding the strap. You're going to start to bend your right elbow, and then swing your left hand down and around, and start to slide the left hand up towards the right hand. You can hold the strap here. And you can walk your fingers up as close to each other as they can get. You want to have the right shoulder is opening up. Well, the left shoulder is opening up, I'm sorry, and the right shoulder is in an external rotation. If you feel like you can reach if your fingertips can reach each other, they can clasp each other here. You can use that tension to externally rotate the upper shoulder as you, well, anyway, you are opening up the shoulders. This is cow face. Gomukha Konasana. You're doing opposite, it's an opposite action between the two shoulders. Breathe. Lengthen up through the right side, all the way from the right hip, all the way up the right side, up to the elbow. And then you can release, and then go to the opposite side. So taking the strap into your left hand. So keep one part of the strap in front of you and the other half behind you, because then you'll know which one to grab. Then start to bend the left elbow, swing the right arm down, and the back of the hand is on the back as you start to walk your fingers up towards each other. Opening up the right shoulder and lengthening up through the left side. Once again, if you can reach so that the fingers might be able to reach each other. You want to keep the upper arm, the left arm, in close towards your ear though. And you can release. Very nice. You can do a little shake out of the shoulders. And now come to table. So we're going to be on hands and knees. So the knees are hip distance apart. The hands are shoulder distance apart. And the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. The knees are stacked under the hips. The fingers are spread wide. Have a little tone in the lower belly, so the belly button is coming in towards the spine, but not in an exaggerated way, but just enough tone to protect the lower back here. Lift up through the arm bones so you've got a nice firm foundation across your shoulders. Neck is long. And we'll just do some nice cat-cows to warm up the spine so the tailbone starts to lower down as you round the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way through, finally releasing the crown of the head towards the mat. Just pause here. Feel the space across the upper back. The shoulder blades are separating away from each other. The neck is long. I'm going to reverse the action. The sit bones come up towards the ceiling as you slide your chest and shoulders through your upper arms. Shoulder blades are coming together. Look forward. Chest is lifted. This time we'll do it on the breath. So with the exhale, come into cat pose, rounding through the spine. Drawing your chin in towards your chest. Inhale as you go the opposite direction, rolling through into cow. And just do this on your breath now. Exhaling as you round the back. Inhaling as you arch. You can do this a few times on your own breath cycle. One more round. And then take the right foot out behind you. Lift the right foot up to about hip height. Cross it over your body, over to the left side, and then look around your left shoulder to your toes. And feel that nice lengthening and stretching all the way up the right side of the body. And then you can bring that leg back in. Take a moment here. Other side. Left leg comes out, toes tucked under. Lift the leg up to hip height. Take it over to the right side and then look around your right shoulder at your left toes. Feel the lengthening up the left side of the body. And then bring that knee back in. Take your knees out wide. Your toes can come together. As you start to draw your hips back, the hips are going to come onto your heels. And then you can either have your hands, we're going to come into child's pose. Your arms can cross over in front of you, forehead on your hands, or you can stretch your hands out in front of you, forehead onto the mat. If your forehead doesn't meet the earth, use a cushion or a block or a blanket. And just rest here. Breathe into your whole circumference of your rib cage, your back, sides, and front of the rib cage. Couple more breaths, and then you can come up to kneeling when you're ready. We're going to come to standing. Get the camera, so you're going to be. Okay. So we're going to begin with upward hands. So have your feet in a mountain pose. So the inner soles of the feet are parallel with each other. There's a slight bend in the knees. You're grounding down through the four corners of your feet. Toes are nice and relaxed. And then just raise your arms up to the sky, fingers pointing up to the sky. And then you can float your hands back down again. And we'll do it one more time. Inhale, lengthen up through the sides of the body. And move the rib cage away from the pelvis. So you're getting a nice lengthening all the way through the torso. And then release as you float your hands back down to the sides. And now we're going to come into a chair pose. So this time, once again, the feet are parallel with each other, about hip distance apart. You can take your weight a little bit back into your heels as you start to take your sit bones back as you bend your knees. Sit bones come back, lengthening across the lower back, and then just bring your hands to heart center. The tailbone, so we're getting a nice line from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. As you sink down into your hips in chair pose, strengthening the quadricep muscles, and then rise back up. We're going to do a little flow here. So I'm going to show it to you before, because I don't want you to be looking up during it. So what we're going to be doing is raising the arms up in upward hands, bringing the hands back down into through heart center as we come into chair pose. And then taking the hands down onto the mat into a forward fold. And then taking the hands up to the knees into halfway lift, back down into forward fold, and then coming all the way back up with the hands up towards the ceiling. The second time around, we're going to keep the hands, instead of coming through heart center, we're going to have them keep them up, and we're going to keep them as we bend back down into chair pose, then go down into forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and then back up. So we'll do it. We'll do it 2 times with hearts, hands to heart center, and then 2 times with hands up. Hands up is going to be a lot more challenging when you come into chair pose. So if you'd rather just keep your hands at heart center, that works also. It's really hard for me to get my head and my feet in on the screen. Okay, so let's begin by raising the arms up to upward hands. Then starting to bend the knees, taking the sit bones back, dropping down as we bring our hands to heart center. Then lowering our hands down to the mat. The crown of the head releases down to the mat. You can straighten one leg, you can straighten the other leg, you can straighten both legs and feel the lengthening of the spine and the lengthening of the backs of the legs. Keep your knees bent if you have to reach so your hands reach the mat. Then draw the hands up the knees as you start to straighten into halfway lift. So coming into a kind of half table, straight back, and then back down to forward fold. Bend the knees as you rise up to upward hands. Take a nice full breath here. On the next exhale, begin hands come down through heart center as we come back to chair pose. Taking the sit bones back, broadening across the lower back, sinking down, chest is lifted. Next exhale, release down to forward fold. You can straighten the knees if you like. Let the weight of the head and torso. Elongate the spine. Slide the hands up the shins, coming into halfway lift. The neck is long, so there's elongation from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. Exhale back to forward fold. Arms come out to the side as we rise up to upward hands. This time keeping the arms above us as if it's your comfort level, or you can bring them to heart center as you start to bend your knees, taking the sit bones back, lifting through the chest into chair pose. One more breath here. Lowering the hands down to forward fold. Straightening the knees, then coming up to halfway lift. Straight back. Neck is long, you're looking down at the mat. Inhale and exhale back to forward fold. Arms come out to the side as you raise them up towards the ceiling. One more time down into chair pose. Arms by your ears or at heart center. Lifting of the chest. Exhaling down into forward fold. Halfway lift as the hands slide up the shins. Neck is long, looking down at the mat. Exhale back into forward fold. And then last time as we raise the arms up to the ceiling. And then you can bring your hands back to heart center. There's a nice flow. So now we're going to do another forward fold, but it's going to be a wide-legged forward fold. It's a little bit easier to access. So take your legs out to about 1 leg distance apart. Feet are facing forward. And there's a slight bend in the knees. As you begin to come forward with a straight back, come forward, dropping your chest down towards your torso, and then your hands can reach the mat. Let the neck hang nice and long here. You can shake your head yes and no, backwards and forth. And then take your left hand into the middle of the mat. Your right hand is going to sweep around to the right. And from the lower belly, you're going to twist your torso towards the right hand and take your right hand to the back, to your lower back, palm face down. So you're in a twist. The right shoulder is opening up. And then come back to center. This time we'll do it again. This time you might want to take your fingertips up towards the ceiling. So keep a little bend in the knees as you start to turn your chest towards the right, taking your fingertips up towards the ceiling this time. You want to keep equal weight in both feet. And then you can lower that hand down. And now we'll do it on the other side. So the right hand comes in the center, and then sweep the left hand up and around, palm of the hand coming to the lower back as you twist from the lower belly, twisting the spine to the right, to the left side, opening up the left shoulder. And then come back to center. And this time, if it's comfortable for you, you can take your hands all the way up to the ceiling. So twisting from the lower belly. The spine is twisting like a spiral staircase. And keep your breathing open and free. And then come back to center. Now walk your hands over to the right as you start to bend your right knee, and you get a nice stretch in the inner thigh of your left leg. And then back, bring your hips back to center and then walk your fingers over to the left side as you bend your left knee, getting a nice stretch in the right inner thigh. Bring your hips back to center and then bring your hands to your hips, hip bones, and then start to rise up. And you can bring your feet to a comfortable position. If you like, we're going to be getting down onto the mat now. So if you want to come down through a squat, you can come all the way down, taking your hips down. Or you can just come down any way that's comfortable for you. And then bringing your buttocks down onto the mat as we begin to finish up our practice. So come down onto your backs. Take your feet out to the mat distance, width distance of the mat, arms out by your sides. We'll do some nice windshield wipers. So letting the knees just sway from side to side. The opposite hip can come up off the mat. Inhaling as you come up to center. Exhaling as you release the knees over to the side, letting the weight of gravity take them closer to the earth. And then up to center, and then you can stretch your arms and out behind you and your toes towards in the opposite direction. A nice big body stretch, full, nice and long body stretch. You can let out a little sigh as you begin to move into Shavasana. So this is going to be corpse pose. This is dead pose, dead man pose. So letting the whole body weight rest down into the earth. Your arms can come down by your sides a little bit out. Let your feet just splay out to the sides in a very relaxed opposite directions. Very relaxed feet, arms, neck. The neck is relaxed. Tuck your chin a little so you've got a nice length in the back of the neck. Gently close your eyes if that's comfortable for you and feel the weight of your body. The upper body sinking into the lower body. The lower body sinking into the support of the earth beneath you. Your body feel like it's melting, like it's butter melting in a pan. Spreading, taking up space, and letting go. Fully relaxing, deeply releasing every bit of tension you might be feeling, and integrating all the work and movement and sensation that your body felt tonight. Let your forehead relax, unfurrow your brow, relax your jaw, soften the muscles around your eyes. Let your breath move freely through your body. And I'll leave you now in Shavasana. Thank you all for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Namaste.